How to get a bullet in the nupper.
Evening Chronicle, Tuesday, February 22, 1994. Tyneside bouncer who accidentally shot teenager is sent to jail for 8 years. Victim of fear in gangland. A gun-toting bouncer who fired a bullet into the head of an innocent woman has been caught up in Tyneside terrifying gangland violence. Mark Steele, a doorman at Harrahan's on Newcastle's quayside, brought a semi-automatic pistol, live ammunition, and even a suit of body armor to protect him against underworld attacks. But when the 33-year-old fired the gun in a show of drunken bravado, he accidentally shot 19-year-old Nicola Lumsden in the head. Doctors decided it was too risky to remove the bullet lodged behind her ear. Nicola, a waitress from Essex Drive, Concord, Washington, made a remarkable recovery but is still severely disabled. Unable to walk unaided and with the bullet still in her head. Bravado. Steele, a divorced father of 2, from Percy Gardens, Dunstan, Gateshead, fled in his Jaguar after the shooting outside the Redskins pub in Washington last September. Never realized he had gunned anyone down. He only learned of the tragedy from the news bulletins the next morning, and was so grief-stricken he slashed his wrists in a suicide bid. Newcastle Crown Court heard. Jailing Steele for 8 years, Judge Helen Paling said, "I think the truths about that night is that this shadow of violence that hangs about the nightclub scene in this city had a great deal to do with your behavior. You were using bravado while you was drunk, and I think the bravado was to impress the nightclub fraternity." Judge Paling, who said Nicola had been left in an appalling state, adding, "There are too many guns in this city. It is too easy to come by them. They are too often carried by people like you, and when they are, the temptation is exactly what happened to you. It's a temptation to use them. It needs to be known in this city and this area that where people use guns and other people are injured, whatever the mitigation or remorse, courts will punish them very severely." Steele, who began part-time work as a doorman when his engineering business began to struggle, admitted unlawful wounding, possession of a firearm with intent to endanger life, and possession of ammunition without a certificate. He had brought the gun after his friend and fellow doorman, former boxer, Howard Mills, had one of his legs blown off in a shooting in the city, and bouncer was almost knifed to death. On the night Nicola was shot, Steele had strapped the gun under his jacket, for protection when he went to meet fellow doormen for a drink at Redskins. He got involved in a car park clash between a customer and club door staff and fired a warning shot to show off. The court heard he fired deliberately wide of his target, but the bullet hit Nicola. She was leaving the pub. Glenn Gatland, mitigating, said, "There is a shadow of violence which hangs over people who attempt to work in jobs such as doorman." Harrahan's prided itself on the fact that drugs were not allowed, and that brought the door staff into conflict with people who were keen to take drugs into the club. Not only did the defendant get a gun and ammunition, he had such a fear for his own life he obtained a suit of body armor.
How to get a bullet in the nupper.